Perry has long been the kind of pop star who could turn heartbreak into a chart-topping anthem, cry her way through a breakup, and still step into the spotlight in a cupcake bra, inviting the whole world to dance along as she healed in real time. For years, her empire has been built on neon energy, playful chaos, and a glitter-soaked resilience that felt almost magical. But in 2025, something feels different. The sparkle seems dimmer, the confidence less effortless, and fans everywhere are quietly asking the same uneasy question: is Katy Perry actually okay? Beneath the bright lights and candy-colored performances, whispers suggest her emotional world has been on a wild roller coaster, one so intense it feels like it should come with a seatbelt and a waiver. Behind the scenes, the story grows more complicated. Those close to her say Katy found herself trapped in an emotional loop that was anything but fun or remix ready. She reportedly began leaning heavily on Orlando Bloom for constant reassurance, far beyond the occasional moment of vulnerability. It became a steady rhythm of texts, calls, and daily emotional check-ins, a kind of all-access pass to her inner world. The sort of dynamic usually seen in relationships already fraying at the edges, not in one that was supposed to feel stable. And as the glitter slowly slipped, fans were left watching, wondering whether the woman who once turned pain into pop perfection was now struggling to hold herself together. Let's be honest, almost everyone has either been that person or dated that person, the one who spirals when a message is left on read, even though the other person was literally just in the shower. For Katy, though, this wasn't a quirky phase or a relatable relationship hiccup. It was a full-blown emotional dependency unraveling, and the cracks were forming long before the public noticed anything was wrong. The pop persona that once felt indestructible began to split down the middle. Katy Perry has always been larger than life, the woman who rode a giant mechanical lion onto an awards show stage, who made whipped cream shooting bras iconic, who somehow convinced the internet that a left shark having a meltdown was charming. But the Katy Perry of 2025 feels different. She looks exhausted, not "I stayed up too late," tired, but the kind of tired that makes people pause and quietly ask, "Are you okay?" Those close to her say the breakup with Orlando Bloom hit far harder than anyone expected. After years together, a public engagement, and a daughter, this wasn't meant to be just another neatly packaged Hollywood split. They were the couple people rooted for, the sweet, silly, slightly chaotic duo who genuinely seemed happy. And when that relationship started to fall apart, it felt like Katy fell apart right along with it. Then came the music. Band-Aids doesn't land like a standard breakup song, it feels more like a confession. As if Katy opened her diary, stepped into the booth, and decided to bleed honestly over a beat. Lines like, "I tried my best, and it's not what you did, it's what you didn't," don't sound like playful pop heartbreak. They sound like someone trying to stitch themselves back together in public, hoping the music might hold what the glitter no longer can. Those lyrics land like the kind of sentence someone says just before their therapist slowly removes their glasses, leans back, and gently says, "Okay, let's unpack this." The song is beautiful, honest, and almost painfully transparent, and fans can feel every word of it. This isn't teenage dream Katy, wrapped in candy colors and carefree fantasy. This is a woman with emotional receipts, exhaustion in her voice, and no energy left to pretend everything's fine. That level of rawness is powerful, but it's also unsettling, because pop stars rarely strip themselves this bare unless something is deeply wrong. And lately, she doesn't look like herself. People close to Katy say she's been showing up to events distracted and dazed, physically present, but mentally somewhere else entirely. She's always been animated, theatrical, bursting with life, yet now her energy feels muted, like a firework that never quite launches. Instead of sparkle, there's a sense of buffering, pauses, distant stares, moments where she seems to drift mid-conversation. She looks like a phone stuck on 1% battery, still on but barely holding on. Even fans online, the same ones who can usually meme anything into humor, have stopped joking. This time, the concern feels real. Not she's quirky, worried, but genuinely worried. And then came the plot twist no one saw coming. Somehow, improbably, Katy Perry became romantically linked to Justin Trudeau. Yes, that Justin Trudeau, the former Prime Minister of Canada, a man associated with policy briefings, national crises, and hair that defies gravity. The internet collectively froze. No one had Katy Perry dating Justin Trudeau on their 2025 bingo card. Yet suddenly it made a strange kind of sense. Sources say Katy was craving something different this time. Someone older, steadier, less Hollywood chaos, and more grounded calm. Someone who reads foreign policy briefings before breakfast, who doesn't vanish into rainforests for filming or train for sword fights. Someone who can troubleshoot Wi-Fi problems and negotiate trade deals in the same afternoon. After years of emotional turbulence, it seems Katy may have been searching not for fireworks, but for solid ground. Honestly, after Orlando, the shift almost makes sense. But it still raises the question, is this a genuine love story or just a rebound with diplomatic immunity? That's where things get complicated. People close to Katy aren't convinced this new connection is bringing her the peace she seems to be searching for. They say she still appears restless, still overwhelmed, still emotionally off balance. The partner may have changed, even upgraded on paper, but the inner calm hasn't followed. Dating Justin Trudeau is certainly a choice, a bold one, a political rom-com waiting to write itself, but it also feels like an attempt to fill a void left behind by a relationship that once defined her. Sometimes, when the emptiness is that large, it's easy to mistake distraction for love. For more than a decade, Katy Perry has carried a very specific emotional brand. The girl who turns pain into pop, the queen of rainbow-colored comebacks, she made heartbreak catchy, made sadness danceable, and built an empire on smiling through adversity as if it were just another costume change. But even pop stars get exhausted from performing happiness. Lately, it feels like Katy is losing her grip on the version of herself she's been selling to the world. Not in a dramatic crash, but in a quiet unraveling. The kind that happens when someone has spent too many years being brave for the cameras and suddenly realizes they don't want to be brave anymore. You can only paint on a smile so many times before your face starts to ache. Maybe for the first time, Katy Perry isn't performing a persona at all. She's just being human, raw, emotional, messy, confused, and uncomfortably honest. Whether this is a breakdown before a breakthrough or the beginning of a full celebrity spiral is still unclear. Every pop star reaches this crossroads eventually, that fragile moment where transparency turns into vulnerability, and vulnerability turns into concern. Britney had hers, Miley had hers, Selena had hers, and now it seems Katy may be standing at that same intersection, deciding which way to go. Is she standing on the edge of yet another reinvention, or drifting toward the kind of celebrity spiral tabloids love to feast on? No one really knows, but one thing is undeniable. This is no longer the candy-coated, bubblegum pink Katy Perry the world once grew up with. She's older now, worn down, and likely exhausted from playing the eternal poster child for joy. The woman beneath the glitter is allowed to crack, and maybe that isn't a tragedy at all. Maybe Katy Perry doesn't need to be the global symbol of fun anymore. Maybe she doesn't want to live as a walking emoji, permanently frozen in sparkle and smiles. Maybe she just wants to be human, someone who cries, spirals, worries, questions, and breaks. Being a brand is relentless. Being human is chaotic. And for the first time in a long while, Katy seems to be choosing the mess. Strangely, that might be the healthiest choice she's made in years. What happens next remains uncertain. Whether Justin Trudeau represents a genuine new beginning or simply an emotional band-aid is something only time will reveal. Whether this era becomes an artistic rebirth or a very public unraveling is still unfolding. But one thing feels certain. The next chapter of Katy Perry's life is going to be wild, unpredictable, emotional, and perhaps the most real thing she's ever created. Fans may be worried, insiders may be whispering, but for the first time, Katy Perry isn't trying to explode like a firework. She's just trying to exist as herself. And maybe, just maybe, that's what she needed all along.